Michelle Walsh, Head of Intermediary Sales at Together, and I'm joined today by Jason Berry, Group Sales Director at Crystal Specialist Finance. So we are here today to talk about the highs and lows of the buy-to-let market. So shall we dive straight in, Jason?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me.
So Jason, what does the buy-to-let market look like right now, and what trends are you seeing?
What landlords have demonstrated year after year is just how resilient they are, and that's not changing. I think another recent report you've published indicated that the landlords canvassed were still expecting to be in the market moving forward. And I think this move from amateur to professional is something that is evident on a daily basis. We're seeing more and more limited companies, SPVs, and I think the latest figures suggested it was over 400,000 limited companies that have been specifically set up for buy-to-let purposes now, which is incredible, really. And I don't see that acceleration actually stopping. So I think it's 23% year on year at present. I just see that continuing, really.
Yeah, and I know certainly at Together, 45% of the business that we're currently doing is under a limited company structure, and we've already started to see that percentage grow in 2025. So it's certainly a great way for tax savings, and we also expect that to continue to grow. What other areas, are there areas in the UK that you see are kind of attracting more of that buy-to-let investment?
Look, I think I referenced landlords as being entrepreneurs, and they're always looking for a return on investment, right? And I think areas in the north, so Manchester, Leeds, Birmingham, and even up in Scotland, where I know recent Rightmove figures suggested that there was, I think nearly 52 enquiries just for one property as it came on the market. So I think we've got a marketplace where demand is outstripping the supply, and that means that the buy-to-let sector is more needed than ever. Yeah.
And I know that what we're seeing, and I'm sure it's across the board, is diversification of portfolios. So we're starting to see a lot more of landlords that's purchasing properties to convert into a HMO, but also purchasing, say, semi-commercial properties to get those two income streams and social housing. Are you seeing the same things in the market?
For sure. And I think brokers and distributors like Crystal have a part to play in that, because I think we need to educate and almost disturb landlords at certain moments in time. And if you were investing in shares, you wouldn't just buy one share, right? Yeah. So similarly, if you're a property investor, you wouldn't just have a portfolio of just residential. So I think having semi-commercial, as you referenced there, and HMOs just seems a natural progression, particularly if you're looking for stronger yields.
Exactly. So in our research, we've identified that 20% of landlords are considering the private rental HMO sector as a strong area to invest in. Are you seeing the same at Crystal?
Yeah, for sure. And it's not a surprise, really, when we look at maybe the typical yield being above 8%, it seems like a natural progression for landlords to actually move into. So again, I can see this diversification, which we've already touched on, continuing, and look, that HMO market is here to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think certainly from the HMO perspective, what we are seeing is properties that are initially a standard family let, single family let, such as, I don't know, a semi-detached property that landlords are purchasing to refurbish into a HMO, because that's another opportunity, isn't it, to look at potential bridging finance before the property is then ready into the buy-to-let space. There's another area that we're seeing quite heavily of an increase of demand for is for social housing. Now, from a Together's perspective, we're very flexible, common sense lender in that space, because we work with companies such as Mears, Clear Springs, Circle, which potentially some other lenders don't necessarily accept. What's kind of your experience with the social housing sector?
I think it's an exciting sector, and we actually share a specific individual customer together who, he operates in a niche which looks after unfortunate females who've been part of an abusive relationship, and he's got a great relationship with a number of local authorities, and together, we are delivering some brilliant solutions for this particular chap. And although he doesn't necessarily see the capital appreciation or the flexibility with tenant profile that maybe he would elsewhere, he has got a great niche and he's building a fantastic business, and we're delivering a brilliant solution between us.
Yeah, because it not only does it make great sense from an investment perspective on the rental yields, but it's a great, nice thing to do, and certainly to support individuals, tenants that really need the housing. So it's something that together are very much strongly supportive of. So I think what we've just identified is there's a lot of opportunities in the buy-to-let market for 2025 and beyond.
Absolutely.